Happy Friday and welcome to the PHNX D-backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as the mayor of PHNX, and I know it's not Friday. Watching this live, but I'm doing this for the future listeners and beyond. We hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and we thank you guys so much for joining us. Of course, I'm joined by my vice mayor, my friend, my co-host, the one and only Thunderstick Jesse Friedman.
That background looks good on you, my friend.
Yeah, right. Look at what's going on in here. There's stuff going on. It's still a mess. Don't get me wrong. I'm still building IKEA furniture, but regardless, things are much better in my life right now, and I'm very much enjoying the new studio coming to you from the jungle with my new D-back Serpientes hat, looking slick.
There you
We
go.
hope you guys all are out there looking nice in 2022 as well. This podcast is brought to you by the fine folks at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use our code of PHNX, and simply for betting $5 on any football team, college or professional, to win their game, you will win $200 in free bets instantly should they be victorious. And Jesse, I'm excited. It's Friday. It's Thursday. It's our last show of the week. Whatever day you want to call it. It's our Friday. It might not be your Friday, but it's definitely our Friday. I'm excited. We're going to do a little job fair for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Apparently they're hiring, and I'm excited to talk about the position they're hiring for and maybe what else you and I might be qualified to do around Chase Field. But recently there was a poll that came out from Seton Hall University. And unfortunately, Mr. Friedman, I feel like it might be confirming some things that we have talked about already on this show. Right. The survey of 1,570 adults last month found that 44% of respondents who identify as avid sports fans would be less interested in big league baseball when the 2022 season begins. And I don't mean if they just mean that straight out based on this situation. I don't know if they mean necessarily if it is because of the lockout or if just in general, but man, that interest, that love of America's pastime doesn't seem to be as solid as MLB might think it is.
I as much as we love to call it America's pastime, I think it's and I would still call it America's pastime personally, but I think there's a lot of Americans who don't really view it that way as much as we may call it that, right?
Sure. Football probably has taken over as number one in our hearts in this country, but right. I don't know if I consider football to be a pastime, right? Like there's something about baseball that qualifies right as that. Like football is too exciting to be a pastime. Like when I'm at a football game, I don't like getting up and leaving and going to the concourse because I feel like I'm going to miss a crucial, substantial play. You don't really feel that in baseball. Like, and if you do, you're like, I'm going to hear the crack of the bat. I'm going to hear the roar of the crowd. I can kind of look over from the popcorn stand and see the ball go out for a home run. It's a different feeling at baseball games.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, you would know better than anyone, Derek, because you're of course well known for, during games just kind of walking around the stadium rather than staying in one place.
Correct.
So
that
you
is
would
correct.
you would be able
like
to speak to that.
Place. Right. I have ADD at baseball games. It gets worse when I'm actually at the game as a fan, because when I'm there covering the game, like I have been for my past employer, I had to write an article about the game. And that part required me to watch the game in great detail. That's what I'm doing there, right? Otherwise, you could literally watch the game from home and get the same kind of coverage. So I had to try to pay attention to the details, but I also like to get different angles. The press box tends to be a bit boring for me. I'm not allowed to like scream and cheer and curse in the press box, so they frown upon that. But I'm definitely not surprised by this. I think that baseball is the sport that constantly seems to be bickering internally about money and everything. Like, don't get me wrong, obviously other sports go through it too. Other sports have, labor agreements and CBAs and all of this stuff that baseball also, has to deal with. But it just seems like baseball's battles become more public and messier than other sports. I don't recall other sports constantly going through these ups and downs when it comes to their labor agreements. I don't pay attention to other sports that as closely as I do baseball, though. So it's not my bread and butter. I just don't recall, even as a fan, going through that feeling that fans of baseball have now, which is I can't count on these two sides to want to play this game.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think Adam Silver is pretty well respected in the NBA. I really have
Yeah,
not heard that many ill words spoken about Adam Silver. Is it still Roger
arguably.
Goodell in the
Yeah, it's
NFL?
still
Is
Roger
Roger
Goodell in
Goodell?
the NFL, but I was
Okay,
going to say Silver is arguably one of the most forward-thinking commissioners that. I mean, again, you're going to always have to make tough decisions as a commissioner, and at times being an
sure.
authority figure is never going to be a popular role to have. But I think the critical thing about Adam Silver is that he makes decisions that seem to not only be good for their sport, but good for the basketball community and good for the look of basketball, look of NBA, right? There's
Yeah,
there's still there's still some controversies and stuff. No sport is free of that. I just think that it is different when you talk about baseball, what they've gone through with these labor negotiations now, the fact that they had 5 years to try to rectify something, the fact that they could have come to the table a year ago instead of facing this lockout, the fact that honestly, the lockout didn't even need to happen, right? We didn't need to be
right.
locked out. They could have been negotiating the new CBA without a lockout. We didn't need fucking players' faces removed from MLB.com. And we didn't need to go through all of these ridiculous hoops that we are jumping through currently due to the fact that we can't talk about baseball. I mean, when I planted a tree with Randy Johnson, they told me I couldn't ask him about the team. Like I was going to ask him about the team. You know how many million things about birds I would ask Randy Johnson
Oh
before I
yeah.
asked him about the team? Just bird knowledge alone. That alone, killing a bird with a baseball, how it felt, if he lost sleep at night, things like that are number
He
one at my
also
list.
he also is a photographer, so he might have an interest
Exactly.
in birds just
In
out
bird
just for the sake of
photography,
birds. Yeah.
maybe, I don't know. I would think that he probably would do everything he can to rectify his position
Wouldn't
with the
that
bird
wouldn't that
community.
be yeah, wouldn't that be amazing? That would be like the greatest plot twist. Randy Johnson is like a bird watcher. Like that's like a pastime for
he
Randy
work,
Johnson.
he he volunteers at the zoo in the aviary, you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
uh,
exactly. Yeah,
just
he feels he
paying
has some
repercussions.
exactly. Yeah,
Mm,
he has some bills to pay in that department,
yeah, no, for sure.
but yeah, no, I think you're spot on with just the fact that the optics of baseball are just very bad right now. And I feel like for me, Derek, the reason that I think this is as bad as it is right now in the minds of fans, I mean, we've seen some ugly negotiations across all four major North American sports at some time
Sure,
or
yeah,
another. But I think what's weird here is that it's really been 2 years in a row in that
exactly.
because we were here in 2020 when the season was delayed because of COVID, and the two sides had to come together and try to figure something out. And they fought like heck back then. And
Mhm.
so it feels like we were just here a short time ago and we're just doing it all over again, as if this is some sort of an annual thing that has to happen where,
Right,
the
right.
owners and players have to have their annual gripe before
Well,
we
here
can
we
go
go
about our
again.
business.
It's
Exactly.
time to fight again. Every
Yeah.
season, we need to have an argument about how much we're going to pay players and, what who we're going to let play as a designated hitter and who we're not going
Right.
to let do that and all that kind of stuff. Right. I don't know. I think you're right, though. You hit the nail on the head. It truly is this, even though, because they keep saying that, they're like, it's the first work stoppage in 26 years or however long.
Yeah,
Right. But
yeah,
it's
it's
like,
really the
no,
first
it's
work
not.
stoppage in about 12 months,
Right,
14
right.
months, something like
Because it
that,
was
yeah.
it was the same thing. It felt like owners were being greedy, players were trying to get compensated properly for this shortened season, and nobody wanted. Like, how hard is that, man? I mean, if I'm playing half the number of games that I normally would play, can't we figure out a way to base my salary on the number of games play? Like, but it's not that easy, right? These contracts make things complicated, and some
Right.
players, if they're going to play a season, they want what they were promised, not just a part of what they were promised.
Yeah.
So
Can we
I
can we go down a rabbit trail real quick? Do
let's do
you
it.
do you remember when one of the major proposals that was floating around Major League Baseball at the time was for every team in the game to come to Phoenix, Arizona and stay in hotels
Yes,
around the state,
yes,
and we were gonna
yes.
use the
And
spring training
quarantine.
facilities for every single game. And it was like they were for
Oh my
real,
god.
Derek. Like
Yeah.
there was a time when Jeff Passan literally said, like, this is what they have on the table. Like, this is how it looks like it's going to go. And of course, that's not ultimately how it went. But I remember as a baseball fan at the time, staying at home during quarantine, I was so torn because, on one hand, it's sad because, we're all in quarantine. And at that point, they wouldn't have allowed fans in the stands anyway. But on the other hand, I mean, it's pretty cool to have that much baseball happening in your backyard, like literally all of Major League Baseball just right there in the metro area. So,
not to mention, don't get it twisted, Jesse. I'm very selfish when it comes to that. And even though you say we wouldn't have been able to go to the games, I would have been able to go to the games.
Yeah,
and
you can kind of peek over the fence. There are certain areas you can go to at some of the ballparks where you could still see a thing or two. So,
well, that was there was still nothing wilder to me than the fact that I attended games during the pandemic where there were no fans allowed as a member of the media, and that some of those games still weren't as quiet as some of the games I experienced last season at Chase Field, right? Because they were pumping in the fake crowd noise, and even though it was annoying, it made it so you couldn't at least hear the birds chirping. And there are a lot of birds at Chase Field. When you can hear them chirping, it's loud and there's a lot, and that means
they hang out up on the roof.
Yeah, there's like more birds than people in that field at times. But again, I think it's dangerous. I've said this before, but this goes back to my relationship advice, Jesse, about the arm or the keys thing, right? Indifference is dangerous, right? If you're in a relationship and your significant other becomes indifferent, that's way more dangerous than them being mad at you, right? Sure. Being mad means there's still passion, that they still care. Indifference is when people really stop losing or stop caring about that thing altogether, right? Indifference is where you're literally like, Maria Condi, I think the joy of getting rid of stuff. I can easily get rid of this thing in my life, and it will bring me joy. It will bring me joy to not have it around anymore, right? And MLB, again, they're just, I think sometimes some organizations think that they're too big to fail. And it's not to say that I think MLB is going anywhere due to this circumstance, but it erodes with time that love that people have for this game. And, eventually you find yourself at a position where people just don't care, like that's sad, but I still care. Jesse still cares, and we will probably care for the rest of our lives. So don't think that anything that they can do with the labor negotiations is going to affect either of our loves of baseball. But
I think people like us, we're the reason why they're going through with this whole deal, because they know there's enough crazy diehards out there to, keep the sport afloat. But you make a good point. I think there's going to be fewer and fewer of them the more of these kinds of things happen.
To be honest, it's kind of like what's going on lately. I don't want to call it cancel culture, but it's like what's going on when, people are getting outed for being scumbags, like we were talking about in the show, that really shouldn't be enough to keep them out of the Hall of Fame, right? But when people are outed as scumbags, it makes it that much harder to enjoy things that they're involved with, right? If you find out there's a scumbag on your team, it makes it hard to still love your team the same way. Or, what's happening more often is like actors and, things like that, television shows and movies you like it's hard to still enjoy that thing when you might think of somebody in that, that's involved with it being a terrible person, right? I don't know. Some people can put that aside. I've been able to put it aside at times, depending on the levels of grievances and what people have done. But we just live in a time now where we kind of know too much, and it makes it hard to love, a show that you used to love, right? Like Seinfeld was my favorite show. And then Michael Richards had to go make a public ass of himself as a racist during a, comedy set, the stand-up set. And again, Kramer was like my favorite part of that show. Kramer and Newman, the whole dynamic. It makes it that much harder now to go back and watch episodes and still enjoy it and laugh like I did at one time because of
you just know. Yeah.
You just know, right? And like baseball, I'm not saying did anything wrong, but people tend to feel that same way. Like, I just don't care about this thing anymore because they've ruined it. They showed they didn't care. They didn't care about us as fans. They didn't care about this game. They don't care about the sanctity of this game and not interrupting it for their what seems like financial greed, right? But at the same time, when you start hearing both sides make an argument, you kind of find yourself going, much like I did with Jeff Passan and his comments about the Hall of Fame. You're like, well, you make a good point. And then the owners
Yeah.
might say something that you're like, well, I can understand your position on that. And then that's
Yeah.
how nothing ever gets done, because both sides make a good point, but both sides need to concede a little bit and find a way to meet in the middle to end this thing as soon as possible. You impact this season, and this survey of 44% of respondents is going to go up maybe another 20%. If your season is delayed, there's going to be more than 44% of people on a survey that are less interested in big league baseball when the 2022 season begins. This is all just due to this fighting. But if there's an actual delay, that number is going to go up.
Yeah, it is. The one thing I will say is, I mean, we haven't lost any baseball games yet, and it's not like the on-field game isn't being ruined, right? I mean, the sport that we all love, I mean, they might add the designated hitter, which I think at least most of us, and as far as I can tell, want that anyway. So I think there's something to be said for, I don't think it's so bad in that sense. I mean, the game is still very much being preserved. But yeah, I mean, the optics of this are bad. And I still think that, in a month, if the lockout somehow has ended and the two sides have compromised and come to an agreement, I think there's a good chance that, 6 months, a year from now, we don't really care about this. Like, this isn't really a big deal in the rearview mirror. So baseball still has an opportunity to salvage, their reputation. And as you're talking about their fan base, right? As people seem to be going for the exit doors, given all of the things that have happened lately. But I still think there's room here to salvage this. It's just a matter of how well do these two sides handle it, and do they capitalize on that opportunity, or do they allow this to fester way longer than it has to?
Yeah, well said. Well said. Well, we want to remind you guys to go download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make sure that your numbers don't go down. Make sure your numbers are going up all this season. Obviously, it's the end of the football year, both for college and the NFL, but that doesn't mean that the action has to stop on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. They have an unbelievable offer to get all fans in action for this exciting time on the football calendar. New customers can bet just $5 using our promo code of PHNX on any football team to win their game. And if they do, you win $200 in free bets. So let's wind down the season with a big win. And remember that DraftKings Sportsbook customers can get skin in the game with the same game parlays. I have been enjoying the same game parlays very much. I've been telling you guys this whole time. Again, a little pro tip: when you get into the sub menu for the same game parlays, remember there are additional options that you can't just do a straight bet on. So look through those options, see what other things make it a 13-14 leg parlay instead of just a 4-leg. That way you win. Like I said, let's recoup these funds from the holiday season. I know you guys spent a lot of money on gifts for people. You guys are good people. You did good, but you didn't do what my family did for me. They bought me stuff from the dollar store. Terrible. We'll talk about that at a later time.
You got AirPods, Derek. You got AirPod Pros.
I know. I am ungrateful, Jesse. I've told you that before, but remember, DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Don't forget, use that promo code of PHNX and bet just $5 or more on any football team, college or pro, to win, and you will win $200 in free bets if they're victorious. That's promo code PHNX this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and over only, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Dial 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And Jesse, I know we're still under contract with PHNX.
Is there a better offer out there, Derek?
I'm reminded of this. Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm a little upset. It's kind of like when you get married, and then your dream girl hits you up and is like, "Hey, what are you doing? You want to go get drinks?" Right? Because according to MLB trade rumors, the Arizona Diamondbacks, Jesse, are hiring a bullpen catcher. They're hiring a bullpen catcher.
Okay.
And I don't qualify. They won't. They're like, you're a member of the media. You got to do one or the other. I said, I can do both. I can get solid interviews from the bullpen.
Yeah. Yeah. You can be like on the inside, right?
Man, I mean, imagine it. Imagine the interviews that I could do from the bullpen with the pitchers right there. But bring back Andrew Chafin and I would kill for this job. But they are actually hiring a bullpen catcher. And it just kind of, it was a little bit interesting of a listing, Jesse. I found it interesting that for experience, they really
Yeah.
weren't looking for you to have any.
I also noticed that. You'd think, I mean, you're just a bullpen catcher, right? Like you're not a catcher for the actual games, but major league pitchers throw pretty hard last I checked, Derek. I don't know if you
That
can
is
just have
correct.
any old person going out there trying to catch 95-mile-an-hour heat every day, but yeah, apparently you and I are as qualified as any. So
I'm going to give you the qualifications right now.
all right.
Ability to catch multiple bullpens daily, up to
Okay.
7 days a week. Done. I don't have a life. I mean, if I was a bullpen catcher, that would be my
Oh
life. I'd be
yeah.
dedicated. I'd be dedicated to the craft, Jesse. Strong level of intellectual curiosity and openness. Are you kidding me? The stuff I talk about on this show publicly with all of you, screaming my
That's
name.
what they're looking for.
Intellectual
Yeah.
curiosity. Of
Right.
course,
Yeah.
I'm curious about everything. I find everything to be fascinating. Ability to bring a positive attitude and energy to the ballpark each day with a mindset committed to serving the needs of the team. Jesse, do you not remember how excited I got about tank season? Tank season, baby. Look at,
I don't
I
know.
brought a positive mindset to losing baseball games.
Oh
Hit me
man.
up. This will be the second
I'm
time
just
this week.
imagining you yelling tank season like
Oh,
near the
yeah.
players. I
Yeah.
don't know if that's
Right.
the kind of positive energy you're looking for in this
Do you mean
job,
to tell me
Derek,
that
but
wouldn't amp them up? You mean to tell me they wouldn't get excited about that? That could be our rallying
no,
call.
I don't think so.
I don't know. It could be like tank season. Brr. It could be like a cannon. That's what I was looking. Anyway,
There you go. Yeah,
yeah,
they'll love that.
I don't know. I think I think I already bring a positive mindset to this show. All right, we've been covering a sport that's locked out, and I
That's
have
fair.
not lost my mind yet. So that's very important. I do know that this is the second time I've applied for a job publicly on air while doing the show this week, and I know that's a bad look, and I don't care. I don't care. Diamondbacks, hit me up. You know, you have my number already. You have my email address. We message all the time. So
There you go.
let's figure this out. You guys have a need and I have a dream. So let's make these two things meet in the middle. But Jesse, it made me curious to think, what would your dream job be at Chase Field? Not even necessarily on the team, but what's some dream jobs of yours? I know first off, hands down, bullpen cart driver. Bullpen cart driver.
Oh yes.
I want, again, you talk about dreams coming true. Holy shit. I want to drive the bullpen cart. I want to drive the bullpen cart more than most things. They're like, you want to catch a fly ball? Sure, that would be great, but I would much rather drive the bullpen cart. Is it still around? Did they disable?
No,
Did they dismantle
no.
it? Is it in the back? I don't know.
Yeah, it must be hiding in the corners of Chase Field somewhere. I don't know exactly
It's
where
with
they keep
all
it
of other
now.
Baxter's other toys that he keeps in the
Yeah,
hallway
right.
back
It's
there.
stashed away somewhere. Yeah. So actually, real talk here. So I think I've mentioned this on the show before, but my childhood dream was to do play-by-play
You
for
wanted to
the
replace
Arizona
Greg Schulte.
Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say it like that. You can't replace Greg Schulte. But
you literally tried to mimic his voice as a child and
I
usurp
did.
him is what you tried to do. Don't tell
Yes,
me that you didn't
I
try to
did do
replace
that.
him. Get out of here,
Yeah.
Jesse.
Yeah, but I got to meet him as part of the process, and I made sure I communicated that there's no hard feelings along the way. But but no.
just 12-year-old Jesse telling him, I'm not coming for your job yet.
Yeah, he literally, I remember when I talked to him, he told me when his contract expired. He wanted me to know, he was like, all right, well, they're stuck with me until I think it was like 2017 or 2018 at the time. Now, obviously, they've extended him far into the future. But yeah, I mean, Greg he's a legend for a reason. But yeah, that was my childhood dream. I did an internship out in Springfield, Illinois, where I called games for a collegiate summer collegiate baseball team. And I quickly decided, Derek, that play-by-play was just,
not for you.
Well, maybe it was the fact that the collegiate team that I was calling games for, I think our final record was 6-54, give or take.
Oh my god!
So that didn't help. So part of me wonders if my life story would be far different if they'd actually been good, and maybe I'd fallen in love with it instead.
Sure, no, it
But
makes sense.
yeah, but that did not happen. So that was
I don't
the
know.
childhood dream for me. And who knows, I mean, maybe at some point in life a door opens up to explore that again. But I mean, you're at the ballpark every single day. You're there before pretty much everyone. You leave after pretty much everyone.
Mhm.
It is a gut-wrenching job on some days, when you're down 11-0 in the first inning, as my team so often was. It's just like, oh man, how am
Here
I
we
going to
go
make it through this?
again.
Yeah, and I was solo too. I didn't usually have anyone on with me, and that made it all the worse. If you'd been there, Derek,
We
maybe
would
I
have
would have
killed it.
survived.
Yeah,
Yeah,
color
yeah.
commentating and you on the play-by-play, we would have killed it, Jesse.
I believe
Absolutely.
it. I believe it. But yeah, that was the childhood dream for me.
I'm gonna give you another one, and I know you like. You like when I reference my bobbleheads that no one can
I
actually
just
see.
love how
So,
we have no idea how many you have over there.
oh,
And
it's insane.
they just
I
keep
want
coming.
to be Racing Gracie, and I don't.
Okay.
And when I say that, I don't want to be. I don't want to be the big unit. I want to be Gracie.
You
I
want
want
to
to
be
be Racing Gracie, and I want to run and I want to trip and fall on my face and never win a game. That would be a dream job for me personally. I don't
They
know.
do have
Like,
he does win occasionally, right?
yeah,
Or was it
occasionally.
just has he just won?
Sometimes they make him go winless all season long just because it's
Okay.
hilarious when he does. But
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I don't
It's
know.
a good bit.
Now it's I don't know. Everything's on the video board, and I'm not a fan of it. I need the people back doing the things in front of me again. I need life to resume back. I'm going to San Francisco this weekend, Jesse, to go see a show that isn't even happening anymore. Why I didn't cancel my hotel and my plane, I have no idea, but I'm still going because I
Sure.
just don't know what to do with myself otherwise when this stuff happens. I can't believe we're back to a point. I thought we were going to get Racing Gracie back on the field soon, and who knows now? Who knows what's going on? But I was wondering too, not just dream jobs, but let's say you're given a job at Chase Field. Let's say you go to the D-backs job fair. They assess you as a person, and they
Oh gosh.
issue you a job. Maybe this is like Futurama, where they automatically pick your jobs in the future in the year 3000. What do you think would best suit you as a job at Chase Field?
Well, I don't have that many skills, Derek. I'm going to be honest. So unless there's a room where I can sit in and do math problems and use my
Are
math
you
degree,
fucking kidding
maybe I
me?
could do that.
Analytics? You don't think analytics department? You don't think
No,
working
no.
right alongside with the analytics department wouldn't be your jam?
No, that would be my jam. That's the first thing that comes to mind for me. But that is a very hard. They don't have 50 baseball analytics interns running around in Chase Field every day. So that's not
I didn't
exactly the
say intern. I'm giving
easiest.
you the job. You're
All right, you're
hired,
giving me the
Jesse.
job.
That's
All
the
right.
difference here.
I'm
You need to have
overthrowing
confidence
Mike
in yourself.
Fitzgerald
First of all,
tomorrow.
I don't like this. I don't like this non-confident attitude. I don't know if I want to hire you anymore, but I'm trying to give you the analytic position is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, that would definitely fit me best. Okay, what about you, Derek?
I think locker room attendant.
Okay, I can see it. Yeah.
I say that because I have a great respect for hats and jerseys and shoes. I think I would treat their stuff kindly and well, and I would take care of their things. I think
You
I
like
would be
doing
funny.
laundry?
I love doing laundry, Jesse. I
Okay,
love it as much
okay.
as I love putting together fucking IKEA furniture. Okay, and that's what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks: laundry and IKEA furniture. No, I don't.
Okay.
It's weird, but at times it's when you kind of assess yourself as a person. Like the reason why this entire move that I've been wrapped up in has bothered me so much is because I'm a bit OCD, right? And sometimes those kind of ways you tend to be can kind of, if you lean into it, you could make maybe a good career that also satisfies you. I've often thought about just jobs where I cleaned in general being something that I'd be like, I don't know. I find myself just cleaning around my house constantly anyway. I think
I do enjoy cleaning. I have
right.
to
Like
admit,
it doesn't
yeah.
bother me to do it because I feel like I'm like, look how clean this kitchen is.
Although
This is
cleaning at a
beautiful,
ballpark is not the most
That's
satisfying
gross. That's what
form
I'm
of
saying. That's
cleaning.
what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
trying to stick to like the law. I mean, and yeah, the clubhouse is especially gross, right? But the other thing I like is the camaraderie, right? There's something about the locker room attendant guys that tend to be part of the family with the team. They
Sure.
know them, they talk to
Yeah.
them. That from the stories I've heard, they invite them out to drink with them and stuff like that. So I think that part about it too would be like kind of a nice reward for the fact that you also have to pick up after these guys like you're their mom. You could also get to go drink with them and have some wild times and have some stories to tell your grandkids one day
Yeah.
about, your time as a D-backs locker
Yeah.
room attendant.
And I mean, you still get to be sprayed with champagne probably if the team makes the
Ooh,
playoffs. So you still
yeah,
have that
that's right.
benefit.
That's right. But I'm sure that you'd be smart enough to wear some ski goggles, have some gear ready.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the pro tip: don't get the face shields that people are using for COVID. Those will not work in a champagne situation. The
Okay.
champagne goes everywhere. It
Mhm.
sleeps in.
Yeah.
I had tight goggles on, Jesse. It was still coming in the cracks where there weren't like
Ugh.
flesh on, material kind of situation. Like I had little gaps in my eye, like right in the corner of your eye that somehow like liquid was getting in on. And then what's worse is it was getting in my goggles, like when you go under the water with goggles that aren't airtight. And there was like a little like fishbowl action happening with champagne that was building up inside of my goggles.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not great.
These are first world problems to have, Jesse. I'm complaining
are.
about the times that I
True.
celebrated with the Diamondbacks in their locker room over victories. So I guess,
None of
whatever.
us feel bad for you whatsoever.
You shouldn't.
So.
You shouldn't. I understand completely. But what you should do is go over to gophnx.com. Don't miss any of this banter, any of this commentary, any of this fine content that we're putting out over at gophnx.com. You can sign up to become a member, become an annual member, and you will get a free t-shirt from the phnxlocker.com. By the way, our t-shirts are incredible. They are the king of soft style, and they are just absolutely beautiful shirts. As a matter of fact, my wife just came in here right now to ask me if that Booker shirt and lowrider was still available because she wants to buy it for her doctor, who is a huge Devin Booker fan. So you can buy that shirt right now for your Devin Booker fan in your life. And also you can get it for free if you sign up to become an annual member. If you're not interested in that, you'll become a month-to-month member and you'll get your first month for just 50 cents. So a little aperitif, a little chance for you to try it out, see if you like it, and then come back for more with the annual membership. Also, you can be part of our members only Discord, which I want to apologize right now. I apparently just turned Discord off completely, which I don't know how I did that, but I'm not very familiar with this website and this app. So I will be back because apparently people were talking to me at times and I was ignoring them. And I would like to just apologize now to everybody. But again, members get that access to members only Discord where I will completely ignore you, apparently. And there's a membership perk right there. But also you can get membership only discounts over at the PHNX locker, all sorts of surprises. We're going to have a fun 2022. This launch of this website was fast, it was fun, but it was furious, and we had some we definitely had some growing pains, but we look forward to 2022 being a big year for us. So once we get through this lockout and once I get Jesse down here in Phoenix, Arizona, we're going to have some meetups, we're going to be hanging out, we're going to be doing post series shows. We're going to be doing pre-series shows.
Yeah,
there's a lot of fun stuff planned for the future.
Imagine talking about real baseball games, Derek.
I can't
even really picture it
because
now.
I feel like we've been talking about the lockout for 6 years is what it feels like. But before we let you go, I want to give you guys my DraftKings pick of the week, so you guys can make a little money this weekend. No, we got some Saturday games and weekend filled with football action. I know that I just need to apologize now to our DNVR family that might be watching. I'm sorry, but I'm taking the Chiefs over the Broncos at a 10.5 spread at -105. They, I think, are going to stomp a mud hole in the Broncos in the final game. I hope for your sakes that it's not like that, but I think they're going to cover the 10.5 point spread. I'm also taking the over at 45 points because I think there's a good chance the Chiefs might score 45 alone on their own.
Wow, that's gutsy. You're taking the over on 45 points.
Yeah, well, it's taking the over. It's a combined 45, right? So I mean, it's really not that high of a score.
Okay. Combined between the two teams.
Yeah,
okay,
the over and under is
I was wow, you are going for it.
Just going for it. That's how I feel about the Chiefs. No, taking the over on the total score being 45. That was at -110. They did have a fresh from the field weekly special on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you this, but I'm hard passing on it, even though I believe in the Chiefs. The Fresh from the Field weekly special was Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce combining for over 199.5 receiving yards. And as much as I like those two guys, I just have a hard time feeling like in this final game of the season, they're going to run those guys that hard, especially when the Chiefs don't really need, it's not going to be a fiercely competitive game, and the Chiefs don't need to win that badly. So, but yeah, we got what we got. We thank you guys again so much for checking out the show. Reminder, I talked about the PHNX Locker, but go check out the PHNXLocker.com right now. There's beautiful shirts over there. I talked about the Booker shirt, but there's all sorts of shirts. Get the Go Ape shirt. It's based on this tattoo. I don't know what arm I'm on. It's this tattoo. It's a little Phoenix Suns action. It warms my heart anytime I see someone wearing it, even though I don't even cover the Suns. It's not even for my beat, but I see it. I know it's attachment to me, and it makes me feel special. So just go get that shirt or any of our other beautiful shirts over at the PHNXLocker.com. And we're always churning out new designs. I, as a former Sun Devil, cannot really talk about the back of the A shirt and how great it is, what a great retro look it is.
It is cool.
How much people like it. Yeah, you could say that, but I'm not allowed to. You can say that.
I didn't go to ASU, so I have
you can say whatever.
I'm not really a big U of A guy, but I mean it's a cool shirt. That's all I'll say.
It's a cool shirt. So go check out phnxlocker.com, and please don't miss any of the stuff we're doing over here. DraftKings, our code again is PHNX to get that $200 in free bets for betting $5 or more on any NFL team to win their games, should they win their games. And again, go over to gophnx.com and sign up to become a member. We appreciate you guys so much for checking out the show and sticking with us through this part of the season that's not easy to get through. And I'm going to agree with the real stink meaner here, who says the MLB sucks. And I don't think he's wrong right now, because they need to get a deal done, and this is ridiculous. So let's get back in the office, fellas. Okay, 2022. We're 2 weeks in. Let's get some work done now. All right, let's end the vacations and get a deal done. Jesse has predicted the January 28th date that we are 22 days away from now.
Yeah.
Next time we speak, we're going to be even closer to it. And I want to really be putting the heat on Jesse as far as his prediction when this whole lockout was going to end. But
just watch and learn, Derek. Just sit back and watch it happen. All right.
Just sit back and remember who Jesse is. He is the omnipotent Jesse. And I am merely a reflection in his crystal ball.
You think I could get my beard to do that? How many years do you think I'd have to grow it out?
Your entire life. You'd never shave again. Never shave again. And maybe before you die, you could grow something close to that. But you can follow Jesse and his beard at Jesse and Friedman on Twitter. I am at Cap_Caveman with a K. Our show is at PHNX_DBacks. But of course, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports. And that is on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Sean pause, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
He says January 28th, 2023. I don't like that, but he might be right. We'll see what happens. Obviously, you guys can download us on your favorite audio podcasting app. You'll get this show Friday morning, just like you get every show at 10 a.m. every weekday. You can download it on your favorite audio podcasting app. Subscribe to us there. Leave us a 5-star review. Obviously, Jesse, with his all-knowing, all-seeing ways, deserves to be rated 5 stars. Also, go over to YouTube. If you're watching us right now on the live show, make sure to subscribe to us there. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss any of the content being put out by any of our amazing hosts on this network. And I know if you're listening right now, you have to be a diehard Arizona sports fan. So make sure you don't miss the Coyotes, Suns, Cardinals. They're all doing much better. Well, not the Coyotes, but the Suns and the Cardinals, they're holding it down for us. So we appreciate them, and we appreciate you. On behalf of Jesse and myself, we thank you guys so much for showing up for this episode. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but man, it's so much more fun when we can just play baseball.